everyone, it's Stephanie from My Porch Prints, and today we are going to be making this folio. This is called My Lady's Suitcase, and it is just a fun little kit from our Etsy shop filled with lots of interesting pieces. Kind of the story behind it is that there's this lady and that she has to choose between two suitors, one in London and one in Paris. And so this is just about the journey that she'll be taking. And it comes with lots of fun pieces, really multi-functional. So let's go ahead and get started putting this together. Okay, so I went ahead and printed out the whole kit. And what I did was I printed some of the pieces on cardstock and some on paper. There should be instructions on each page for what to do. And some of them also say to print on the back. So like this flip out piece, I printed it on cardstock and then I flipped it over and ran it back through the printer and printed it a printable paper on the back, and then I cut it out. So I just chose this matte paper because I liked it, but you can choose whatever paper you want to print on the backs of things. So to start with, we're gonna go ahead and put the cover together. And this kit includes quite a few pieces. It may seem a little daunting, but don't worry, we're gonna take it one step at a time, and step one is the cover. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have these front and back cover pieces, and it shouldn't really matter which one's which. We're just going to attach them together using this tab. And what you want to do, if you can, is to score along your tabs and fold them. So I'll really quickly do that. And if you don't have a scoreboard, you can just try to fold it, or you can use like a ruler or whatever you want to try to keep it straight. But I'm gonna do this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just fold it and then fold it backwards. And I've got my bone folder here, and I'm gonna use that to kind of smooth it out to really get a good sharp crease in both directions. And that's because this is kind of the main fold of our folio, and we want it to be able to open and close with ease. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of put these side by side and flip them over. And you know what, actually, I think I'll do it this way. This makes more sense. So we're gonna just apply glue here, and then we're gonna match these up like this. And you might notice I have my name on my glue, and that is because my daughters work with me and we fight over glue bottles. So this one's mine. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and just line this up and glue this together. And you'll notice there may be just a little bit of white showing on your crease here. If you want to, you can ink the edges of your items. You can use distress ink and, just ink the edges. Like I would probably fold this and ink all along here to kind of hide that white edge. But you certainly don't have to. I am going to skip this step just because it takes a little bit of time, and this is a tutorial video, so we're gonna skip that step, but you can ink your edges if you want to. Okay, so then we're gonna flip it back over and we're gonna locate these pieces. And you can see there's a rose pattern on these. It's white on the back, but there's a little rose flower pattern. And the roses kind of point upward. If you have them pointing kind of downward, that's probably the wrong direction, so that's an easy way to tell which is which. And what we're gonna do is glue these on here. And I'm gonna start with the front cover piece. And the reason is that I'm going to be gluing something behind this back cover piece, so I'm gonna wait till later for that one. So choose, your front cover here, and when you open it up, this will be on the inside of the front cover. And you want to try to line it up the best you can when you glue it down. There may be pieces sticking out. You may have to trim a little bit, just depending on where it lands. But again, for time's sake, I probably won't trim mine up too much unless it's really glaringly, obviously off center. And you probably want to get to the edges nicely. Again, since this is a tutorial video, I'm hurrying a little bit. So take your time, do a good job, better than me. Okay, and then you're gonna want to just line things up, and you can kind of check it by turning it over. And that fold will offset things a little bit, you know, because there's a crease here, it's gonna kind of push things off to the side. So you may need to do just a little trim work to line things up nicely. And then before we glue this other side down, I want you to locate this flip out. And what we're gonna do is we're going to glue this behind, like right here on this side, the white side. We're gonna glue this tab down. And then once we do that, we're gonna cover it and hide it with this piece. So I'm just gonna apply glue to the tab. And I'm going to line it up on the edge here. And again, you can see there's a little gap, but it's not bad. If you wanted to, you could hide that with the ink. Okay, and then we're gonna hide this tab using our inside back piece. And yeah, these are definitely sticking out a little bit. I may adjust the design a little bit to help with that, hopefully. Make sure that these align properly. But I'm gonna go ahead and trim that up just so you can see. You can trim that up if you want to. Okay, and this should be the cover and kind of inside flip of our folio. All right, so next we're going to be locating some other pieces to attach. Okay, so these are insert flaps A and B, and we're going to go ahead and, these are pockets. We're going to set these aside for a moment. So this piece you want to go ahead and score again, fold your tab back and forth. And then this piece looks like this when you cut it out. And we're just gonna fold it in the middle and crease it really good. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it around this tab, just like this. So, oop, that's a lot of glue. There we go. Make sure it folds. And then we're gonna go ahead and glue the whole thing together. So just glue all this white space right here. And get those edges. Sorry, I'm being sloppy again. Okay. And then we're going to, I think we'll attach it and then add our pockets because we may need to trim them up a little bit. So again, this is the inside front cover. This is the front of my suitcase. It's gonna open up like this. And right here on this inside piece, we're gonna attach this. And we're just gonna apply glue to the side and the bottom. We'll leave this open. So down this long side, just apply one little thin bead of glue and then another little thin bead at the bottom. Makes kind of an L shape. And we're gonna glue this right into this crease right here. And you don't want to slide it around too much because the glue will run into your pocket and then it won't work very well. You want to leave it so that you can slide things in here. So glue here, glue here. There we go, and we got a nice cute little folding piece inside of our folio. And again, just kind of close it, make sure it's going to close for you. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and locate our pockets and we're gonna attach those. And again, they may stick out just a little bit because this fold's gonna kind of push things to the side. And if that's the case, you can trim it up a little if you want to. I think this will be fine though. So with pockets, you wanna apply glue to the sides and the bottom and leave the top open to create your pocket. And make just a thin little bead of glue on the very outside edges. And don't slide it around too much if you can help it. And again, every time you put something in here, just make sure that it will not interfere with the fold. Okay, and then the same for these. We're gonna just line them up, glue the sides and the bottom. Okay, so next we're gonna locate these pockets, and these are going to go on our flip. So that's this flippy piece that we put inside here. And for the pockets, you wanna make sure that you take the tabs and fold them and then crease them really well because you want them to lay nice and flat. So just make sure those are creased. And then we're basically going to just apply glue to our tabs and then fold them and just kind of center them on this piece right here. Try to get glue all over the tab because that will help. And again, try not to slide it around too much because you might accidentally get glue in your pocket and glue your pocket shut. Okay, and then the pockets also come with these belts. And if you want, you can use it on the pocket itself, or you can use it like up here. Trying to decide what I want to do. And you can trim it if it's not quite fitting, whatever you want to do with it. I'll think about that. Let's attach the other pocket. So you just flip your flip over and you go ahead and attach the other pocket here. And just make sure things are right side up. It's really easy, you know, when you start moving things around, if it were to get upside down and you didn't notice. So just double check, you know, that things are all right side up as you're putting this together. And there's a kind of gray border around this piece. You can kind of see it. And this just kind of fits between the border pieces and then just above this bottom border. And then again, I gotta decide where I want these. It's such a simple decision, but I can't seem to make it. They look cute in both places. I just don't know. Well, I'll probably put them on the pocket because once we fill it with ephemera, you won't see it here unless I put it behind the belly band. So I think I'll put it down here. And to do that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just trim a little bit off this edge. So what I'm gonna do is kind of align it with the edge of my pocket and then just sort of fold it backwards at the other edge, like that. And that'll give me the size I want. Hopefully, close to it. Oops, and I cut that really crooked because I wasn't taking my time, so it might be too small now. Well, that'll work. So now, again, decisions. Do I want to just glue the edges and make it its own little belly band? Or do I want to just glue it on there as a decoration? I think I will just glue the edges for now. And I don't want to slide it around too much. Which way do I want this? Boy, I tell you, I can't make a decision today. It's funny how unimportant this will probably be later, but for some reason, it seems really important. And I think I'll do the same over here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to work on is our folio pieces. And I need to score these, but they look kind of like lace. And then there's this back piece that's going to become the back of our folio. And sorry, I'm probably confusing you by saying folio. It's kind of like a folio within a folio. So I'm going to fold each piece and just flatten it a little bit. So what we're going to do is open up our folio to this back inside cover. And we're going to just glue these pieces in here kind of like this. So they'll be kind of like a top, a bottom, and then two sides. Just like that. So I'm going to start with the sides. And I don't think it really matters which is which. And I'm going to apply glue here and then just stick it in here like this. And then I'm going to kind of use this as a guide. I I think this may be a little big, so we may have to trim it up just a little bit. Because again, this fold kind of pushes things a little bit. Okay, and then this long one goes on the other side. There we go. And then again, top and bottom doesn't really matter. It should be the same. So we're just trying to align it with the top of our folio right here, the fold. And if it doesn't close, you may need to slide it around a little bit. And then same thing for this piece. Okay, and if you don't like, you know, these pieces showing right here, you can use this to cover it up. It's up to you. But you probably will need to trim this to fit. So these won't fold over it as is. I'm going to go ahead and tidy it up just a little bit. And you're probably like, well, why don't you make it the right size so you don't have to trim it up? But the fact is that if you move something even just a little bit, it will change the size. So everyone's will be just slightly different. And sometimes we compensate for that in our design, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult to do. So some of the trimming may be left up to you. We'll try to get it close for you. And if you wanted to, you could also round your corners here or ink the edges just to give it a little more of a, you know, clean look or whatever. I think I'll leave mine though. So then if you want to, these come with little, I call them buttons, and you can attach them and use them as a closure if you want to. And there's a few extras here in case you wanted to use them as, you know, decoration or something. Give it that kind of ladies lace suitcase look. You know, I thought that might be kind of cute. It's up to you though. So I'm using a micro punch, but you could also use an awl or a needle, something sharp. And I'm just going to punch a hole in roughly the center of my circle. And you can find the center if you want to. One easy way, I guess, for me is to trace the circle on another piece of paper. I'll kind of show you how this works. Kind of line it up with the edges and just sort of get a square that's the same size, or you could trace the circle and cut out the circle shape. Either way, as long as it's the same size as your circle, you can see that that's pretty close. And what you do is you just fold this in half and then fold it in half again. And that, where the lines meet, is the center. And then you can use that as a kind of guide to mark the center of your circle. Just make sure that it's lined up with the edges. And that'll give you kind of the center of your circle. Or you can just guess, which is what I usually end up doing. But it's up to you if you want to be precise. Okay, and then what I like to do is take this bottom piece and put the top piece over it. You know, I don't want it like this. I want the top piece on top. And then I'll just take this and mark kind of where the hole is. And then, oh, is that in the center? I don't think that's even close to the center. Oops. Sorry, my bad. And again, you can eyeball it or you can measure across and find the center if you want to. I like to say it's probably roughly where, you know, the center is here. Whatever looks good is kind of what I go with, and that looks good to me. Okay, and then what we want to do is line up our buttons as best we can here. This I don't think is going to reach. Of course not. So I will have to get an awl and poke a hole here. Here we go. And if you want to get your hands on one of these, I have a book binding kit that I really like. It's what I use to bind my junk journals. It comes with wax thread and an awl and some other stuff. Anyway, you can get it on Amazon. I'm an Amazon affiliate, so I have a shop. And I'll make sure there's a link down below in the video description that will take you to my shop if you want to get your own awl. Okay, and then these are just brads. They're actually mismatched. I probably should have picked two that matched. But these, again, I have an Amazon link for these as well. These are just little tiny brad fasteners. I'm gonna get one that matches. Okay, and we're gonna use these to attach our buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and put it through the button. Come on, you. There we go. And then through this little hole. And if you want to, you could, you know, use something to cover this up in here. You could use another button if you want to, or whatever. And just kind of hide that. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave mine. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this bottom flap. Okay, and then we'll use a piece of twine to kind of tie these together. And I like to just kind of pry mine up a little bit and make sure that they're not stuck too tight to the paper underneath, so that I can wrap some twine around it. And you don't have to use twine, you can use string or whatever you have on hand that works, thread. I'm going to kind of do this right here. Oh, that didn't stay very well. This twine is not very pliable, so it doesn't want to stay. Well, I'm probably going to take this off because we're going to be decorating it, but you get the idea. Okay, so now we've got our folio kind of put together and we can start putting some of the pieces together. So I'm gonna set this aside for a minute, and you'll notice it's kind of bulky. I mean, that's what happens with folios. You fill them up and they get a little bulky. So don't be afraid to kind of work with the spine a little bit and just sort of tell it what to do. Okay, so the next project we're going to work on is our purse pocket. And you can see I've cut this purse out, and I'm just going to fold it in half, and it's going to create a little pocket. So we're going to glue along the bottom and just up the side a little ways. Okay, and we're going to set that aside for a moment, and what we're going to do is assemble this locket piece. And you've got a choice of two handsome gentlemen. I'm actually using this one because I accidentally cut this one apart from its mate. But I'll show you how to remedy that in a minute with a different piece. But for now, we're going to go ahead and use this guy. And you can see that the back is white, and we're going to be gluing these pieces onto the back of our locket. And again, it may not match up perfectly depending on how good your cutting skills are. And if that's the case, you can always ink along the edges to kind of hide your mistakes if you want to. And I may end up inking the edges of this one so it doesn't look quite so jagged. And then we'll do the same on this part. We're going to just cover up the white space with this one. And the fun thing about this is it's kind of a love story, and there's a letter that comes with it that we'll look at later. But I imagine this lady is trying to make a choice between two gentlemen, and maybe she's choosing both. I don't know. You get to tell the story yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and just ink along these edges right now to kind of hide that white edging there. And then this piece also comes with a little hinge, and that's just to help make it more sturdy so it doesn't accidentally, you know, flop open and break. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink that as well. Right, and then the hinge you can just fold in half like this, and then we're gonna fold our locket in half, and this hinge is going to go just right on that fold. Just like that. And then once that's dry, we'll have a cute little folding locket. Let that dry a little bit. And if you wanted to, there's some extra pieces that come with the kit. You could use it to decorate your locket if you want to. I think I'll just leave mine as is, but it'd be cute if you want to make it a little bit different. Okay, so while our locket's drying, let's go ahead and locate our compact. Okay, so next we're going to be making this compact that has a little notebook inside of it. And I went ahead and printed the compact images on cardstock and then the notebook pages on paper. And in the instructions it says to leave things attached, but I did cut these apart, and I'm going to show you kind of how to make the compact if you accidentally cut it apart. So if you didn't cut it apart, you would just turn it over and glue these pieces to the inside so that the inside isn't white. And if they're not fitting, it could be because they're mixed up, so you may have to you know, flip them and try the other way, but I think I had them the right way the first time. So then you would just glue these on here, and this would become like a folding compact, just like, oops, like this. But this is a really fragile area right here, and it could rip pretty easily, so I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce this one. So if you have these cut apart, you could reinforce it as well. And I just have a piece of cardstock here that's just cut thin and folded in half. So I'm going to glue that on here. And then I'm going to glue these pieces over the top. And if things don't align perfectly, you can always trim around the edges a little bit. And then if the edges are showing a little bit of white, you could always use distress ink to age it a little bit. I may do that once this is a bit dry. And this will become kind of our little compact. And while that's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and work on the notebook. So for the notebook pieces, you can see that they've got these two gold pieces at the end, and that's what we're gonna use to attach it to our compact. So I want you to fold that backwards, just like this, and then fold and fold. And do that for all of your pieces. Fold the first piece backwards, backwards, forward, backward, and we're gonna get these kind of accordion folds. And then once you've done that, we're gonna go ahead and glue these. So to start with, we're gonna glue this page to this page. We're gonna flip them over and just glue them together. These two middle circles. And line them up the best you can. Again, you may have to trim when you're finished or apply some distress ink to hide some white edges. Okay, and then I want you to locate this piece here, and we're gonna glue it to this long white strip that doesn't have any gold pieces. And you can see there's gold piece, and then white, and we're going to glue these two together. And again, we're just putting these together to make a kind of notebook. And you wanna make sure that they meet at the fold here. Okay, and then again, we're gonna glue the next piece to the next piece. And we're just gonna kind of continue to make a chain. And you can see it becomes kind of like a little booklet. Okay, so then the next one will be this white piece to this white piece. And I'm using Fabri-Tac glue because it's not water-based, so it doesn't usually wrinkle your paper. If you're having trouble with your glue wrinkling paper, it might be a water-based glue. Okay, and then last we'll glue these two together. Okay, and when you're done, you should have a nice little notebook with a gold piece at the front and a gold piece at the back. kind of like this. And again, if you want to ink the edges, now's a good time to do that, to make them blend in a little bit. I'm not going to do it though right now. So then we're going to take our compact and we're going to find our first gold circle here, and we're going to just glue it inside the circle of our compact. And you want to get the notebook fold kind of where the compact fold is. So it will be kind of like a book. And you've got kind of a cute little compact notebook. And then we've also got this pretty little lipstick piece. And again, you know, if you accidentally cut things apart, you can always just glue them together. And then we also have this little ticket, and you can just glue that as well. And then once we have all our little pieces, we can put them in our purse pocket. And those are some things you just might find in a lady's purse. And if things are like, you know, dipping in a little too far for you, we could always just, you know, glue this a little bit tighter at the bottom if you think that's going to be an issue. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is open up our folio, the back folio, and we're going to add these kind of waterfall travel cards. And how we're going to do that is we're going to just kind of stagger them in the back right here, and it's going to create kind of a cute little, you know, waterfall flip. So I'm just going to start with this bottom one. Actually, I think I'm going to start with this one at the top because I like this one a lot. And what we're going to do is just glue it in kind of near the top here, and that should give us space for the rest of the cards. You just want to kind of center it near the top. Just like that. Try to get it nice and straight. And then go ahead and flip it open, and we'll glue the next one. What I'm going to do is just kind of align it with this tab, just like this. And I'm gonna just kind of crease these so that they stay good and flat. There we go. And you got a cute little flip here. Okay, so next we have the pieces for this passport. And I went ahead and cut them out, and I even pre-folded them so I can do things a little quicker here. To start with, we're going to work with this large piece, and what I want you to do is just fold it in half like this, and then don't forget to crease it really well, and then we're going to fold it in half like this. And again, it's going to take a little bit of work to crease this, and after I did that, I went ahead and just trimmed up my corners a little bit and gave them a little bit of a curve, and that's going to give us kind of our little passport wallet. And then what I want you to do is open it up, and over here on this side, we're going to be attaching this piece. So you're going to need to fold this in half right here and fold this tab as well. So it's going to be just like this. And we're going to go ahead and glue this side to this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this tab inside of here like this, and we're going to glue our entire passport closed. So I'm going to add glue to my passport. Just along the bottom half here. And then I'm going to add glue on the back and front of this tab as well. And then when I close this, I'm going to sandwich this tab inside of here. And I'm going to just line it up with this little like wallet piece. Just like this. Okay. And now we've got a cute little kind of fold out wallet piece in our passport. And then I'm going to take this piece and fold the tabs. This is the pocket for our wallet, and it's gonna go right here. And you wanna crease these tabs really well so that they lay flat. And then we're gonna just apply glue and glue it on here. And try not to slide it around too much. And make sure this closes over the top of it. There we go. And now we've got a pocket for our little map piece, our little landmarks. There we go. While that's drying, we're going to take our pen piece and cut it out. And I missed a spot here. Cut that out. Okay, and we're going to just line these up and glue it together so we have a little pen. And you may need to clamp this. Otherwise, if you're having trouble with it, you can just cut it apart. You don't have to leave it and fold it. You can just cut it into two pieces and glue them front and back if you want to. And if they don't quite match up, you've got a little bit of room here to kind of play. And then to attach our pen, we've got this little tiny belt. And what you want to do is apply glue just to the very edges on the left and right side here. Okay, and then once things are a little bit dry, there should be room for tucking their pieces in here. And then that is your passport. And again, you can give it a little bit of a crease if it's not closing very snugly. And if you want, you can put your passport into your purse as well. Okay, so the last thing I want to do before we start decorating is to locate our papers. We've got a map that's printed on paper, and then we have two letters from this lady's, I would say, suitors. So we have one from Duke Somerset and one from Louis in Paris. And I'll go ahead and read them real quickly. So this says, "My dearest, I know you have misgivings about our union. However, please allow me to express my deep admiration and affection for you. I know I may often appear stoic, but looks can be deceiving. My position has always required me to display a measure of reserve, but beneath my calm demeanor burns a heart of passion. I shall never forget the way your eyes sparkled under the moonlight in the garden, and how for the briefest moment our hands touched. Enclosed, you'll find funds and tickets for your travel. If you care for me at all, please meet me in our London garden in 2 days hence at midnight. With love, Somerset." And then here's her letter from her other suitor. "My darling, your tear-stained letter pierced my heart. I will not allow you to marry that boorish Duke Somerset. I beg you, use the money I sent and take the train from London to Folkestone. From there, a ship awaits to take you across the sea to Calais. A trusted friend will meet you there and assist you in boarding a final train for Paris. I know this means defying your father and leaving your family, however, your name will not be tarnished, I swear it. Once we are married, my love, nothing can separate us. We will return to your family's estate as husband and wife. I cannot bear to be parted from you a moment longer. Yours ardently, Louis." So I guess you can decide which suitor she's going to go visit. So for these papers, I thought it would be good to, we're gonna fold these in half, just like this. And you can do these however you want to. I just thought this might be a nice way to do it. And then I'm gonna glue these together. And then I'm going to get some distress ink and make this look like a really nice, like old kind of letter. And then once it's inked, if you want, you could fold it up. I imagine that she would carry it around in her reticule or purse or whatever a lady carries things around in. I guess I wouldn't know. I'm not a lady. But I thought we could also just distress where the folds are and give it kind of a look as if it's been opened and reread many times. There we go. And you can continue that with the other letter, and you can do that with the map as well. Just maybe fold it and add some distress ink to it. And I printed on the back of this with some more just kind of generic map looking paper that's included with the kit. And you could repeat that on the other side if you wanted to. All right, so let's go ahead and decorate this folio. Okay, so now that we have the folio and all the pieces put together, we can start decorating it using the ephemera that's included. And there's a lot of ephemera here, and this folio can get pretty bulky, so you may need to pick and choose your favorite pieces, but feel free to decorate it how you like, and you can follow along with what I do or do your own thing. It's up to you. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end, because then I'll show you how we are going to close it if it gets a little bit gator mouth, a little bit big to close. Okay, so the folio does get rather large if you fill it with all the pieces, and to keep it closed we're going to use some Velcro. And the kit comes with these clasps. It actually comes with 4 of these so that if you want to, you can glue them together so that they have a front and back. But I'm going to just use 2 of them. And what I'm going to do to start is glue them to the back of my folio, kind of where I want them. And you can decide where you want your clasp, if you want to line it up with the kind of belt that's here, or if you want to, you know, scooch it over depending on where you've got some things on the front. It's really up to you to decide kind of where you want it to go. I think I'm going to go just to the side of my handle. So I'm going to apply glue just to one part of this and just glue it next to my handle. And you can see that most of it's hanging off because it's going to fold over and hold our suitcase shut. And if you wanted to, you could use, you know, the other pieces and hide a magnet inside if you wanted a hidden magnet closure. Just be sure to use a really strong magnet. So for the Velcro dots, they're a little bit large, I think. I'm going to go ahead and cut mine in half. We're going to flip this over and attach our Velcro dots to our end of our clasp here. There's one. Peel these off here and attach them here. And again, if you don't want your Velcro showing, you could use a magnet instead. Okay, and then just fold these over and kind of line them up with the top of the suitcase, just like this. And you may have to finagle around some ephemera if you have some in there. I should have probably done this before I glued my front ephemera pieces down, so that's a lesson learned. Okay, and then that should give you a little Velcro piece that you can open to open up your suitcase. And let's take a look inside. So we have our letters from our 2 different suitors and our map. We've got lots of cute little ephemera pieces, lots of little pockets, and just pretty little ladies things, teacups and such, more tickets. And then we have our purse that has our locket inside, as well as our compact, oops, with our notebook. And then it's also got our passport. Got a lovely little handkerchief, some more photos. And then at the end here, we've got our folio, our mini folio that goes inside this bigger folio suitcase. And we have some more ephemera, and then our waterfall. And I put this cute little hat on the back. And we can just close it with our little straps here. And there we go. All right, everyone, that is my lady's suitcase folio kit. Thank you for watching. You'll find links down below. And don't forget to comment with your fan favorite freebie idea. There'll be a link about that as well. We're going to be turning your ideas into monthly freebies. So if you have a great idea for a kit or a theme, go ahead and post about it in the comments below. We'll see you next time. Bye.